Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining from all over the world. Welcome to the Daring Cities 2021, the second session of the day, Climate Emergency Mobilization Leading by Example. My name is Imani Kumar. I'm the Deputy Secretary General with ICLEI globally, and also the Regional Director with the South Asia Office. Just want to welcome you all on behalf of the partners and ICLEI Local Governments for Sustainability for this Daring Cities 2021. Welcome you all on behalf of all our partners. All over the world, things are changing a lot after the COVID pandemic. People are still suffering from the climate change issues. Today, we are going to discuss what is happening with various city governments and also the regional governments all over the world. You must have seen the temperatures are going up very much in the Northern America, and also the floods happening in various parts of the world, and the typhoons happening in Philippines, in Indonesia, and African countries. Recently, even in Europe, the situation is alarming all over the world. As per the SEDAMIA statistics, more than 2,000 cities from 34 countries have already declared a climate emergency. A lot of cities all over the world are committing that they want to advance their actions on the climate change. We're going to see some of them today in our session. And a lot of national governments are looking forward that they want to advance their actions. They want to implement more on their NDCs, which they have committed in Paris in 2015. There are so many other commitments like Race to Zero, Race to Resilience initiatives by the UNFCCC high-level climate action champions. And also the regional governments and national governments all over the world are committing towards this. Not only these climate-related activities, but we also have heard about various other partnerships on the circular economy, on the nature, on the mobility. All these actions by the regional governments and the national and the city governments are showing their commitment to advance the climate actions on ground and address the climate issues on that. Most recent report on the IPCC report, which has talking about that the humanity is reached already the irreversible tipping points with devastating effects. So what is happening in the world and what cities are doing or what regional governments are doing is going to be discussed and seen here. And I'm happy that today we have various speakers, and also I'm happy that we have a message from our previous mayor of Seberang Perai and also the executive director right now of the UN Habitat, Ms. Maimuna Sharif. Today is also the World Habitat Day, and I'm happy that today we have started our Daring Cities 2021. With this opening remarks, I will want to join this session. And as I said that we have 5 panelists or speakers on this session. I'm happy that we have a Deputy Mayor from New Taipei City. We have a message from him. And we also have a message from Acting Governor from Jakarta City. And I'm happy that today we have Colombo Commissioner, Ma'am Ms. Roshane is also with us on live. And Mr. Ahmad Jabri is the Acting Director from Urban Services Department from Seberang Perai. As I also said that we have a message from Maimuna later on that. So with this opening remarks, maybe I will just ask my team to start a poll, which we are planning to ask all of you, the participants joining today. If you can rank the ambitious of your city or region's climate action plan, how would you rank the ambitiousness of your cities or regions climate action? Is it less ambitious than most of the other cities and regions in our country? Is it on par with the most of the other cities and regions on your country? And more ambitious than the most cities and regions in our country. And the last point is more ambitious than most cities and regions in the world. So please join our poll. How would you rank the ambitiousness of your city or region's climate action? We will come back with the results and we will see what is happening on your city. And again, once again, thank you all for joining this session. And I request now the message from our Deputy Mayor from New Taipei City, Mr. Chang She from the New Taipei. May I have the message, please?
各位好，我是新北市副市长谢正达，担任2021至2024伊克里东亚区执行委员会气候调试与城市韧性领域代表。很高兴今天的这个场合分享城市治理经验。新北市是一个拥有400万人口的城市，而且在2000平方公里面积、有山有海的地理环境下，属于高度人口密度与环境复合，在面对气候变迁及能源转型议题，具有艰巨的挑战。执行相关减缓与调试策略研议时，必须融入多元思考与突破框架。因此，我们具有丰富治理的经验。近年国际间兴起了近零碳潮流，新北市愿意与全球其他城市共同肩负起减碳责任，在2020年11月率先签署气候紧急宣言，2021年4月提出2050新北近零碳目标，订定2030打造巴黎区为近零碳示范区，新北市政府第2行政中心达成碳中和，以及都市更新或大型开发区纳入零碳设计思维等3大零碳蓝图。再者，2021年6月更进一步响应联合国气候变迁纲要公约倡议的 Cities Race to Zero， 与700个全球大城市用具体行动扭转局势，为地球做出改变。此外，新北市期盼能调整能源结构，让高污染、高碳排放的燃煤产业能够以最快的速度减少，因此执行燃煤锅炉退场、燃煤气电共生机组退场、发展再生能源等3项关键政策。新北市管制作为获得国际组织脱煤者联盟肯定，成为中华台北第一个加入该联盟的城市。未来新北市乐于与全世界各地城市分享转型零碳韧性城市经验，并积极建立伙伴合作关系，打造资讯交流平台，共同携手转型为国际近零碳城市。感谢主办城市邀请全球各大城市来参与这个论坛。我们希望为零碳城市继续来努力，也欢迎大家来新北市，大家来参与新北市的近零碳活动。
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, for your message. We were so happy to see that New Taipei has committed to net zero, and I was seeing that your message in November 2020, you have started your 2050 carbon neutrality commitment. And I'm also happy to see that you have also joined the city's race to zero, and also you're planning to phase out all the coal-based boilers in power generation and other things. Good to know Taipei City's, New Taipei City's climate emergency or climate action plan. And also I was happy to note that you are planning to have an information exchange platform which you are going to share all your activities. to other cities, not only in Taipei and all over the world. Thank you, sir, for your message, and thanks again on that. We also have Acting Governor Ms. Veera Revinasari from the Spatial Planning and Environment Department of Jakarta in Indonesia City. And she is also giving her message through the video message. May I have the video message of Acting Governor Ms. Veera Revinasari, please.
Peace be upon us. Good afternoon. The Honorable Mayor Federal City of Bonn, the Honorable President of ICLEI, the Honorable Secretary General of ICLEI, all speakers and participants of Daring Cities Forum 2021. On behalf of the Jakarta Capital City Government, I would like to convey my gratitude and appreciation for taking part in this Daring Cities Forum 2021 through the pre-recorded video. Allow me to extend my apology for the absence of the Governor of Jakarta due to the prior engagement. On this special occasion, let me share with you about the commitment of Jakarta on climate change. Climate change has become a real threat that affects all regions globally, including us in Jakarta. The impact of climate change is already being felt in Jakarta, marked by the increasing frequency of extreme rainfall that contributes to flooding in Jakarta. As a coastal city, Jakarta is also vulnerable to sea level rise threats. Therefore, Jakarta always strives to address climate change by issuing policies supporting mitigation and adaptation actions. Dealing with that, Jakarta has a strong commitment to reduce its emissions. This commitment has been implemented into several actions, including: first, since 2012, Jakarta has already set a target to reduce 30% of its emission by 2030. In 2018, it was reported that Jakarta has already reduced 26.5% of its reduction target. Second, in 2018, Jakarta integrated its climate change actions into the Regional Medium-Term Development Plan. The government has also issued sectoral policies related to climate change, such as green buildings, air pollution control, waste management from sources, and other policies. Third, Jakarta also collaborates with various stakeholders by establishing a climate disaster mitigation and adaptation working team, as stated in Governor Decree number 96, the year 2020. In 2021, Jakarta has determined to make Jakarta a climate resilient city, meaning not only focusing on ambitious greenhouse gas emission reductions, but also increasing people's resilience to the climate and environment that is constantly changing. Globally, Jakarta strongly supports the community's efforts to combat climate change to limit global warming below 1.5 degrees Celsius. For this reason, since 2021, Jakarta has committed to achieve zero emission by 2050. Distinguished participants of the forum, besides a strong political commitment from the Jakarta leader, Jakarta also has a strategy to develop a collaborative scheme called Jakarta Development Collaboration Network, which involves stakeholders in developing and implementing programs and activities in an inclusive and participatory manner. In this scheme, Jakarta embraces all parties to make Jakarta a more advanced and sustainable city. Jakarta recognizes that collaboration between the government and citizens is needed to help achieving Jakarta's target of reducing greenhouse gas emissions. As such, since August 1st, 2019, Jakarta Capital City Government and ICLEI have formalized their collaboration to reduce greenhouse gas emissions in the city through ambitious City Promises project. Jakarta has partnered with ICLEI in developing the Promise of Jakarta document that we call Ikhtiar Jakarta. This document contains climate actions and strategies in several sectors, namely energy and green building, transportation and air quality, waste, water, green space and urban farming, health and disaster risk reduction management, which jointly developed and pledged by various stakeholders in an inclusive and participatory manner. This document will be used as a reference and input in the formulation of regional development plans and climate action plans, as well as the implementation of climate disaster mitigation and adaptation actions in Jakarta. Several community groups were involved during the formulation process of Promise of Jakarta document, including women, youth and children, elderly, people with disabilities, fishermen, business and industry, CSO, NGO, community engaged in environmental issues, religious groups, and academia. And stakeholders were positioned as both the creators and implementing actors of this climate action, resulting in a stronger sense of commitment in the implementation stage of Ikhtiar Jakarta. As an effort in implementing Promise of Jakarta document, Jakarta also collaborates with ICLEI in developing several outputs under the Ambitious City Promises project as follows. First, the Promise of Jakarta's website, an online citizen engagement platform to enable individuals to pledge their concrete action in reducing greenhouse gas emissions in Jakarta. Second, interfaith guidebooks to tackle climate change based on the perspective of 6 religions in Indonesia. These guidebooks will be used to raise awareness of climate change and promote the behavioral change of people to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by adopting sustainable lifestyles in daily activities. These guidebooks also serve as a guide for religious leaders to encourage houses ownership as a driving force in the climate change control movement. And to pilot projects. The first pilot project is a pilot project on community-based waste management using black soldier fly, which aims to reduce waste generation at source while also support greenhouse gas emissions reduction in the waste sector by promoting circular economy model. And lastly, a pilot project on energy ambassadors for elementary, junior high, and senior high school students, which aims to build capacities of youth to become advocates of energy efficiency and conservation. Distinguished participants of the forum, climate disaster is a real and significant threat. We need to act immediately to combat it. Achieving net zero emission in 2050 is not an easy task. It requires commitment, determination, and collaboration with various parties in fighting climate change. We call for action and make sure we are in the same vision to save the Earth from climate disasters in the future. Thank you very much for your kind attention, and hopefully this forum will provide much benefit and networks for all of us to keep collaborating with all stakeholders.
Thank you, Governor Ma'am from Indonesia, Jakarta. Thanks a lot for your message. And I'm just noting down the points what you have mentioned in your speech, that your city's commitment for net zero or carbon neutrality by 2050. I think that's a great commitment from your city, ma'am. And also the program which, along with ICLEI, which City of Jakarta is implementing, the Ambitious City Promise project. I think the commitments and engaging the citizens and coming out with an action plan, both on the green buildings, low emission development strategies, and also the waste management, the mobility, all the citizen related climate actions. I think that's one of the wonderful thing is happening in the city of Jakarta. And I'm so happy to hear from you, ma'am, what Jakarta is doing. And also, I think your last words, what you have said, that you are interested to partner with other cities and see how we can meet the net zero commitment by 2050. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot for your message. And we are promising that not only that promises project, ambitious city promises project, but also from ICLEI side, we are happy to partner with you further and see how we can reach the net zero by 2050. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Can I see the poll results maybe? Can we have that? Okay. 37 people have talked about less ambitious than most other cities and regions in our country. I hope you all remember the question what we have asked is, how would you rank the ambitiousness of your city or region's climate action? And I'm sorry to see here, I think 37 people are saying that less ambitious than most other cities and regions in our country. And 26% of the people have said more ambitious than the most cities and regions of our country. I'm happy that 26% of the population here, or the participants here, are saying that their city ambition is more than other cities. 23% have said on par with the most other cities and regions in our country. I think that's okay, between 26 and 23. And 14% have said more ambitious than most cities and regions in the world. I think it's a good statistics. I think 39% is what is the leading there here on that. And thank you for this poll, for joining in this poll and sharing your city's ambition towards the climate action. Now I want to invite the Lady Commissioner, Ms. Roshana Dissanayake, from Colombo Municipal Council from the Sri Lanka. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for joining for this session today, and welcome to the Daring Cities 2021. And thank you, ma'am, and you are welcome. And may I ask you, please share what is City of Colombo is doing on the climate action. The floor is yours, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Kumar. First of all, I would like to express my great thanks for giving me this opportunity to share experience of the Colombo municipality as the Daring Cities 2021 officially invited me, Mr. Cartagena, Honorable Mayor of Federal City of Bonn, Germany, and Mr. Frank Money, ICLEI President, as well as Honorable Mayor of the City of Des Moines, USA, and Secretary General ICLEI, Mr. Gino Van Begin. Thank you very much for inviting me. So I suppose this is very opportunity to Colombo City and Sri Lanka to express our experiences, and distinguished speakers from Chinese Taipei, Honorable Deputy Mayor, and the speaker from Jakarta and the Malaysia. You are mostly welcome, and good afternoon from Sri Lanka, good evening, good morning for the others who are joining in particular countries. Let me begin by thanking our ICLEI World Secretariat for your leadership and service to the process. As today is October 4th is World Habitat Day, the sessions are also designed as a means to contribute to the day's chosen theme of accelerating urban action for a carbon-free world, and its particular focus on the race to zero. It's interesting to attend here and interesting to listen to all the experts. My gratitude extends to your ongoing support on climate emergency declaration and mobilization in action to apply a mindset of permanent emergency to the ongoing situation. And ladies and gentlemen, I must comment that the city of Colombo is indeed possible to set an example of how different stakeholders can work together to accomplish great things. At the Earth Summit in Rio, world leaders began with the idea that the world needed to change the way it was treating its environment, a movement that resulted in the Paris Agreement. Sri Lanka is rich in environmental sustainable practices from before Christ 230, especially in water management, recognizing the rights of the environment and the entire living being rooted by strong Buddhist culture. But these sustainable norms have been abandoned during the 550 years colonial period. As a result of forgetting the history, sustainable practices are still alive. The entire country is facing a great challenge in climate change disasters. Today, in record time making, we may go from the era of hope to the era of implementation of sustainable practices. And together with the Sustainable Development Agenda and the Paris Agreement, we have a clear path forward to truly address climate change and sustainable development. Yet it's an incomplete journey for Sri Lankans as the country is suffering from climate related disasters. We have compassion for them, their families, and their suffering. We no longer have the luxury of time. We must act now. This right here, right now, is where we begin. Colombo municipality, we have some very specific goals we must achieve in Colombo city. We already started few innovative projects. While the central government, climate secretariat and Ministry of Environment are forming the national policies, Bean and the local government institute, municipality, Colombo municipalities under my supervision, and the mayor is also participating. So we are having some practical approach to the city with the stakeholders. So the first one is we launched very generous program, tree planting program last April 22nd up to now, up to today. Today also we celebrated the the World Habitat Day. 7,942 trees were planted in Colombo city. So that is very special project because we are focusing to enhance in the food security, ecological footprint, and the atmospheric condition in the Colombo city. So the speciality of this project is the CMC is initiating with all the stakeholders, but the result is to the people. We are not getting any harvest, we are not getting any fruits. So the other aspect is we need to promote the generous effects to the society, contribution to the society of the people. And the second one is very prominent one. We are working on that. Introduce a green tax concession for Colombo. So Colombo municipality is engaging with all city planning matters, and while the urban development authority is setting out the urban development regulation, planning regulations, we have informed them we are ready to give green tax concession for Colombo. So our municipal assessor and we are working together how we assess the trees, what are the trees they have to plant in their own gardens, which is contributed to a lot to the ecological value. So that is working. That is the first time Sri Lankan municipality is going to introduce the green tax concession for the people who are planting important and ecological importance plant in their own gardens. The municipality is ready to give such tax concession and introduce city planning regulations to plant trees in the free plot coverage. We discuss with the Urban Development Authority because CMC is having the delegated function from the Urban Development Authority to set out their planning regulation. They have agreed once they gazetted the planning regulations, so that is mandatory provisions for every development project to have a minimum green coverage. At the moment the people are just covering the green space in the grass, but we are having some instruction, we are giving regulation to plant the necessary required trees in their particular areas. And the next program is empowering the underserved settlement population for planting home-based essential foods and spices. We already launched this in last April, and it is proceeded. All the trainings and the capacity building we are giving to the underserved settlements, especially for women home the housewives, because they have enough time to cultivate these plants. Especially, they are motivated to generate their own compost in their own home garden and use the particular use for the particular fruits and vegetables. All these ideas emerged from the COVID-19. Actually, we CMC we always find in the methods of creative responsive for the COVID-19. COVID-19, throughout the last 18 years, we didn't close municipality even one day. We are working continuously with the positive COVID positive response to the COVID-19 pandemic. And collaboration with all segment of stakeholders, diplomatic communities, banks, property developers, local manufacturers now are joined with Colombo municipality for this effort. Why? Now people are experiencing by their own selves the disaster and effects of the climate change. So the social responsibility, we are convincing them is our responsibility. No one will come and do for the Colombo city. We have to do. It's our own duty. And competition among underserved settlements, we are started with the National Savings Bank because they are sponsoring for us. Next March we are going to promote them and giving some cash allowances and the motivation fact as a motivation factor, especially for the underserved settlement. So rather than the distributing the subsidiaries, so such kind of innovations will be motivated to people to combat in the climate disasters. And in board, we have some several programs, but that is not much in the mass scale. These are the major innovations in the Colombo city in the applicable level. Central government is drafting the public policies on the environmental and the climate matters. Climate secretariat is doing all the academic matters. CMC, we focus the practical approach, how to get the collaboration of the people, how to get the non-state actors and all the diplomats in one stable, one platform. That is very successful, and we are moving forward. We expect these movements to be the next essential step that ensures that the Paris agreements, we are excited about the enthusiasm of the non-state stakeholders around residents and the social media activist people are with us to have conversations and look for solutions that apply to our practical lives. It is truly inspiring to see how, for the first time in Colombo city history, these groups are aligning themselves with the generous tree investment movement. Because majority of the city users are the inbound migrants. The permanent residents are very less, but even we were able to get the collaboration of the inbound migration people. When they are coming to Colombo, they are joining with us and leaving Colombo. Dear friends, I have outlined the importance of our task, the urgency with we need to complete them, and the increased ambition that we need from all of you. So our approach is to have some practical approach rather than theoretical, which actually research-based platform is also need. I never undermine that. But when any project, if we need to move to the people, it should be customized and it should be practical and it should be in the simple form. Then the people are joining with us without any barriers and they are giving their fullest support. So let's go forth, let's complete our work, let us act with a renewed sense of ambition. These are our themes when we are promoting people. And let us fulfill not only the promise of Paris, but the promise of hope and the promise for all of the humanity that was set out 2500 years ago by the Arahat Mahinda, who introduced the environmental sustainability Buddhist concept to Sri Lankans. When we are the basic approach, in conclusion, we use when we are approaching the people is we are not discussing any Paris Agreement, sustainable development goals or any theoretical background. When we are meeting people, we use very simple and normative facts normative examples and the historical examples and how it could be benefit for their own lives. That is the approach CMC is approaching. So we are in hope we are in correct track, and the result we can expect these result after 2 to 3 years. Now by next 1 year also we are having the progress reviews. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity, and it is a pleasure to me give this opportunity to share our experience. Thank you very much, Kumar.
Thank you, Lady Commissioner from Colombo, and very good practical message what you have given. I think not only involving citizens, but not talking about big words like Paris Agreement and other things, but whatever the citizens can understand and tell them in their own language and get benefits out of those programs. And I'm so happy to listen to you, ma'am, on the tree planting programs, what you have implemented for the last 1.5 years, and also taking along the citizens. And then the one word I think you used and what I heard, I was so happy to listen, is bringing the migrated population on board for these activities, because you have multicultural people in the city, and a lot of people comes to the Colombo and go back from the city. Bringing them also along with you for implementation of these programs, I think that's a very good message what you have given. Thank you again. Maybe we'll pick up a few questions after the next speaker, and then we will come back to you. Once again, thanks a lot, ma'am, for joining us with a short notice, but sharing what Colombo Municipal Council is doing all about. Thank you. We have our next speaker, Mr. Ahmad Jabri bin Mohammed Sarajuddin. He's the Acting Director of Urban Services Department from Seberang Perai Municipal Council from Malaysia. Seberang Perai is one of our friendly and most famous city for us, not only in Malaysia, but all over the world. Thank you, Mr. Ahmad Jabri, for joining this session, sir. And the floor is yours, sir.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kumar. A very good morning, afternoon, and evening to all of the viewers from all around the world. I would like to thank ICLEI for inviting us for this session. And also I would like to say to all the speakers before me, I would like to salute all of you, especially from Taipei, Jakarta, and also from Colombo. It's actually quite mind-blowing what you have done to your city. I think I have learned a lot, and yet more for me to learn, actually. All right, for those that are in doubt, the young gentleman pictures in the slide is actually me 10 years back. All right, my name is Ahmad Jabri, and I'm representing the city of Seberang Perai, a famous city, like what Kumar said, famous due to the current executive director that was our mayor, Datuk Maimunah Sharif. All right, today I would like to share with all of you about the Seberang Perai experience on climate change, and also what we have done over the years for this. All right, I would like to share next, across from 2017 up to 2019, there are about 3 types of typhoon that have hit Seberang Perai personally. And in accumulative, it's around 25 million in economical losses that we have experienced. Due to that, in Seberang Perai, we have, I would like to share this picture. Okay, as you can see, all these pictures are the damage that happened in Seberang Perai due to the typhoon that hit us around the years. Right? Due to this climate experience that we have been experiencing ourselves, then only we realize that there are no more time for us to stay back and just wait for people to act on climate change. This is the right time, the right moment for us to transform Seberang Perai into an aspiring city of tomorrow, which are habitable for everyone. All right. So for that, we have come up with a simple vision and also mission. Next, please. All right. That is for Seberang Perai to be resilient, inclusive, green, competitive, and technology-driven smart city. Okay, for that, we have 5 commitments that we are committed for us to transform Seberang Perai. And also, we also in Seberang Perai, personally, in our city, we have declared that this decade to be a decade for sustainability. All right, that is why we are focusing to be a carbon neutral city by 2030. And for that, we have set 7 KPIs. Next, please. 7 KPIs for us to achieve. First is for us to achieve a recycling rate of 70%, to reduce the solid waste production, to reduce the greenhouse gas emission, to increase the energy mix in our grid, and also to 100% transform our street lighting into LED, and to introduce TOD, that is a transit-oriented development in Seberang Perai. And also we need to have a new concept of circular economy in Seberang Perai. All right. In order for us to achieve this, we have identified 5 smart domains that is known as smart environment, smart community, smart government, and smart mobility, and also smart economy. I would like to share what we have done within this domain, ladies and gentlemen. Right. In smart environment domain, this is one of the projects that we have introduced in Seberang Perai. Is about underground water storage in residential retention pond for flood mitigation strategy. We have done the feasibility studies, and to commence these projects around early 2022. Right. Next, this is a project where we do for adaptation to climate change resilient. That is integration flood pond recreation park for residential area for new development. Next, we introduce a system that known as Spark to alert the residents and also alert our workers about the potential of flood in a certain area. All right. Next, what we have is main control panel web-based system. This is actually to allow us to monitor the water level of our monsoon rain, and also for us to react immediately in occurrence of flood. All right. Next is about LED street lighting implementation, and we are looking by 2022 100% street lighting, LED street lighting in Seberang Perai. And also sustainable energy consumption. We have a partnership with our local energy provider that can provide us with solar panel, and also we give incentive for fast track and also GPI certified. This is our solar panel in Seberang Perai. We have the highest, we have the biggest solar farm in Malaysia actually. That is in Pulau Burung, is roughly around 20 megawatt capacity. All right. In terms of our smart community action, all right, I would like to share that this vibrant gentleman is actually our mayor. Okay, he is very actively participate with a lot of his fans in Seberang Perai through virtual meeting and everything. All right, we have one program in Seberang Perai that we are very proud of. Next, please. That is known as One Baby, One Tree. This is actually a concept that have already been introduced a year back, maybe around 10 decades ago. All right, that we reintroduce it back so that the young people, they can love the environment and they can feel that the environment, the tree is part of their life. All right. Next is about Upcycle Park. In Seberang Perai, we actually have the first and only Upcycle Park in Malaysia. Okay, this Upcycle Park is actually a retention pond that we transform into a park, okay, by using 90% of waste material. And we are proud of it because we want to educate our people that waste actually have value that we can capitalize upon. All right. Next is on People's Aquarium and also Community Park. This is actually a very minimal cost that we invested in this project. Okay, where we can change a place that is not so famous for people, but now you can see that in this area, every day we can see people here just to hang around and everything. But due to COVID-19, yeah, we all know that everyone needs to stay at home. Right, ladies and gentlemen, next is about smart mobility. In Seberang Perai, we introduced a concept that is known as 20 minutes neighborhood. This is actually to encourage people to cycle and to walk. Okay, we have identified around 6 main CBDs in Seberang Perai that we want to introduce a 20-minute neighborhood. Is in order for us to reduce carbon footprint and also in order for us to encourage healthy living for the people in Seberang Perai. All right. Next is about smart traffic analytics and recognition system. It's actually a system that to notify everyone about the traffic jam and everything. All right. In the domain of smart government, ladies and gentlemen, we are actually the first in Malaysia to have 100% services in the form of cyber counter. I would like to say, even though COVID-19 have brought a lot of tension to the city and to the people, but actually it's actually a blessing in disguise for us because it helped us to achieve at a faster rate about how for us to be more digital. The digitalization process become higher due to COVID-19 occurrence. All right. So we also introduced a QR bill to discourage people to come to the physical counter. We would like to encourage them to stay at home and pay everything at home. All right. And it's actually also a low carbon initiative for people not to come to the councils. Right. Next, the same thing that we introduced a cyber bill. Next. Next, due to a lot of question, a lot of tension within the people, we have introduced a live chat help desk to assist the resident of Seberang Perai if they have any question regarding COVID-19, any question about the services that we provide, any whatsoever question that they want, they can ask us in this initiative. Okay. In Seberang Perai also we have a call center that to assist the people if they have any needs, and also we have a lot of cashless initiative. And last in this domain is about free Wi-Fi. Okay, free Wi-Fi. Okay, as you know, the world is going digital. So Seberang Perai we also target free Wi-Fi 100% in the government area, right? In the domain of smart economy, we would like to transform Seberang Perai into a circular economy hub by 2030. So we already introduced a circular economy roadmap in 2020, and recently we just launched our circular economy action plan, what we are going to do for the next 10 years up until 2030, because we would like to be a zero waste city by 2030, and also we would like to encourage the local economy by capitalizing the value in our waste. All right. And also about right, next. And for that, we have introduced a fleet tracking system that to enable us to track the waste generation in Seberang Perai. Right. Another thing in this domain is about Penang Smart Parking. Penang Smart Parking is what we introduced in Seberang Perai to encourage people to make things easier for all the citizens in Seberang Perai to look for their parking, and also to minimize their route to find the parking. All right. Last initiative in Seberang Perai that I would like to share is about our CCTV control room. Right, this CCTV control room is actually helped us a lot in order not only for enforcement but also to disseminate information about COVID-19, to educate the people and everything. Okay, on my last slide, Seberang Perai have achieved a lot over the year. Okay, and we are proud to say that we have the highest recycling rate in the country with 52.16%, and we are targeting 70% by 2030. And also our domestic waste actually have reduced from 263,000 tons in 2019 to 245,000 tons in 2020. Regarding the occurrence of COVID-19, and everyone need to stay at home and need to buy food and produce waste at home, actually the waste is reduced. And we have planted trees in average around 15,000 trees per year. And we have reduced our carbon emission around 21.62%. That is from 8 tons in 2016 up to 6.31 tons last year. And also during the pandemic stage, during the lockdown in 2020, actually within the period of lockdown, 3 months period of lockdown, we managed to reduce 8.2% carbon emission. That's actually saying something. I would like to say that this pandemic, COVID-19, is actually a way nature cleanse itself. A way nature want to teach us that they are better without us. So I think if we didn't learn from there is something wrong with us. All right. And lastly, I will proudly say that in Seberang Perai, throughout 2016 up to 2020, we managed to reduce our carbon emission around 14.25 million tons. This is a high number and we are very proud of it. But we are not complacent. We would like to achieve more. We would like to be a carbon neutral city by 2030. I know it's a daring statement. Well, we are in a daring city platform, ladies and gentlemen. With that, thank you very much. Before this, people are saying you need to smile with your eyes for those that are supermodels. But now I think all of us are supermodels. So let's just smile with our eyes. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Mr. Ahmed, for sharing what Seberang Perai is doing. Good to see that Seberang Perai is on its way towards reducing carbon emissions. And I completely agree with you, sir. It's a like message coming to all of us human beings that we should act immediately. I think COVID time has reduced. I can give you a good example. Even in my country, in India, we can see where I'm in Delhi, 2,000 kilometers away, we can see the Himalayas because there is no air pollution in our country. So those are some of the examples. I think I'm seeing your example that you have reduced around 14% during the 3 months lockdown period, the carbon emissions. I think that's a good. So we cannot stop all the vehicles, but I think we need to act immediately. I think that's the message what you are giving, and your plantation work and solid waste management, renewable energy work, and the fleet traffic system, trafficking system, the tracking system of the fleet and other activities. I think the smart initiatives what Seberang Perai has taken is a very good example to all of the cities. In at least all the southern cities, I think they should look into all this for reducing carbon emissions. And all the best for your carbon neutrality target, what you have put in it. Thank you for sharing all your initiatives. I see a few questions what we have, but I think keeping on the time, I'm not sure whether we can take up any of the questions. But I think some of the questions have come. What are the examples for the carbon neutrality or net zero? I think we have the cities from Colombo, cities from Jakarta, and Seberang Perai, and also from the new Taipei city have shared what they are doing, the initiatives on the carbon neutrality or the net zero initiatives in various city governments. And also, I think Ma'am Commissioner talked about the tree plantation initiatives in the city of Colombo. Thank you for all of you for sharing your initiatives. Except Rwanda, I think one of the other question came up, which sub-Saharan Africa except Rwanda, which are the other cities or the nations have looked into carbon neutrality. I'm not sure about African countries, but there are so many other countries in the world have shown they're committed to net zero by 2050. More than 2,000 odd cities are right now committed to the net zero, and a lot of national governments are also coming on that. So with this, I will say I just want to thank all our speakers. Deputy Mayor from New Taipei, Acting Governor from Indonesia, from Jakarta, and Ma'am Colombo Commissioner and from Sri Lanka, and Mr. Ahmad Jabri for joining you, all of you, sir, for this and sharing your initiatives. I can maybe I'll say that all the best for your initiatives. That's one thing we as an ICLEI, Local Governments for Sustainability, we are happy to support you further. Anything you need from us, please let us know. And we are happy to share your initiatives to all other countries and other cities in the world so that they can learn from you also on that. So I just want to thank all of you. And maybe our last speaker, as you all know, we have today is the World Habitat Day, and I was happy to have a message from Executive Director from UN Habitat and also former Mayor of Seberang Perai. She was also on board of our ICLEI, Local Governments for Sustainability. And thank you, Madam Maimuna Sarif, for taking your time and giving us the message today. And thank you for your message. May I have Madam Maimuna Sarif's message? She's the Executive Director from UN Habitat, please.
Distinguished participants, it is my great honor and distinct pleasure to address you today on the opening of Daring Cities 2021. As you know, today is also World Habitat Day under the theme of Accelerating Urban Action for a Carbon-Free World, where we collectively aim to rally national and local governments and all other stakeholders to raise the level of ambition as we enter the last stretch on our way to COP26. We are meeting in the midst of 4 intersecting crises. First, the COVID-19 health crisis, which is and will dominate the needs of many local governments for years to come. Secondly, an economic crisis ignited by COVID-19. Thirdly, the social crisis, where COVID-19 laid bare exclusion and injustice globally within countries and within cities. Lastly, of course, the climate crisis. All 4 crises are interrelated, and cities are at the epicenter of all 4 crises. At UN Habitat, we have made 2021 the year of climate action. All thematic themes from urban basic services, innovation and policy legislation and governance, to social inclusion, to name but a few, as well as the regional and country officers, have given additional attention to climate action. We have done this by enhancing the resilience of informal settlements communities, by providing technical and financial support to cities through policy and technical advisory services. Equally as important, we have intensified our partnerships across the UN system with think tanks, the private sector, and with city networks such as ICLEI in support of local, national, and global climate action. We have also made significant internal changes. Climate change is now one of 4 pillars of UN Habitat Strategic Plan, and we have just launched a revised social and environmental governance system with a view to holistically address climate change across the life cycle of all our projects and programs. The COVID-19 recovery efforts offers a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to ensure that economic growth is low carbon, inclusive, and resilient. Recovery pathways will either entrench the world in a high carbon, high pollution trajectory at odds with the Paris Agreement and the 1.5-degree goal, or pave the way for an inclusive and sustainable transition. I am sure you will agree with me that climate change must be a key consideration for our efforts in order not to sustain development gains. Daring Cities 2021 and World Habitat Day are milestones on the roadmap to COP26. The Innovate for Cities conference from 11 to 15 October 2021 focuses on science and innovation partnerships driving inclusive, resilient, and climate-neutral cities, brings together national and local governments, practitioners, city networks, grassroots organizations, think tanks, academia, and private sector. World Cities Day on 31st October will represent the culminations of the month-long celebration of Urban October and coincides with the opening of COP promoting ambitious climate action in cities with emphasis on resilience. The time to COP26 is short, but collectively, we can still raise the level of ambition. Finally, I hope to see you at COP26 in Glasgow to further advance in our quest to a zero carbon resilient and socially inclusive urban future. Come and join us in marking this year's World Habitat Day with a personal pledge to rethink how we live, how we consume, and make the commitment to ensure no one is left behind in our urbanizing world. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Maimuna Sharif, for your message. Ma'am, thank you for all the support what you are giving, not only from your mayoral days and now during the UN Habitat Days. I think your message is very clear. The action has to start from the local governments, and we are all there with you, ma'am, for supporting you. And I hope your message is very loud and clear for all the regional governments and local governments all over the world. And they are committing to the carbon neutrality and net zero from various sources, from various actions from their cities. And I'm happy that we will take forward your message, and I hope all of them will assemble at COP26 and we will take it forward. And through Daring Cities, ma'am, that we will take forward your message to all the local governments in the world through our more than 2,000 odd cities from ICLEI network itself, and also maybe to other networks. And we will take your message, and we will make sure the cities will commit for carbon neutrality and come out with an action plan, carbon neutral action plan. Maybe that is the best way to take it forward. I just want to thank each and every one for joining for this Daring Cities 2021. This is the first day, and we have 3 more days of action oriented activities and sessions we have. So I request each and every participant, please join us for the rest of the week of the Daring Cities. If you have any issues in logging into the sessions, please come back to us through our email system. We will happy to register you, happy to help you out to joining these sessions for the next 3 days. And once again, I just want to thank each and every one, all our speakers. Again, maybe I'll just say Deputy Mayor from New Taipei, Acting Governor from Jakarta, and Colombo Commissioner, and Mr. Ahmad Jabri for joining us, and also Madam Maimuna Sharif on that. With this, I'm just going to close this session, and I will just hand it over to my colleagues from the organizing team.